close your eyes for a moment and imagine Earth, not as we know it today, but as it was 50 million years ago. Vast forests, strange creatures roaming the land, oceans teeming with life. Now, imagine if, hidden among them, there once existed an intelligent civilization building, creating, thriving, and then vanishing completely, without leaving behind a single trace. It sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? But what if I told you this idea is not just fantasy, but a serious scientific thought experiment, known as the Silurian Hypothesis? In this video, we're going to journey across time, geology, mythology, and science to explore one haunting question: what if humanity is not the first advanced civilization on Earth? Stay with me, because the answers might just change the way you see history forever. So, what exactly is the Silurian Hypothesis? In 2018, two NASA scientists Gavin Schmidt and Adam Frank published a paper with a bold idea. They asked, if another civilization existed on Earth millions of years ago, how could we detect it today? Think about it. Humanity's entire existence, our cities, our technology, our satellites, it's just a blink of an eye compared to Earth's 4.5 billion year history. If an intelligent species rose to power, say, 100 million years ago, would we even know? The paper doesn't claim such a civilization definitely existed. Instead, it challenges us to think differently, to ask, what evidence survives the test of time, and what disappears? This is not just a question about Earth, it's a tool for looking for life beyond Earth, because if we can't detect our own past civilizations, how will we recognize civilizations on Mars or distant exoplanets? But here's the big question. If advanced beings did exist before us, where are their cities? Where are their machines? Where is the evidence? The truth is, Earth is a master of recycling itself. Over millions of years, tectonic plates shift, mountains rise and crumble, rivers wash away soil, and oceans swallow land. Fossils are rare. In fact, less than 0.1% of all living things ever become fossilized. Now imagine our world today. If humans suddenly vanished, what would remain in 10,000 years? Our buildings would collapse, our roads would crack, even steel would rust away. Fast forward 1 million years, almost everything recognizable would be gone. Plastic and some radioactive traces might survive. Maybe a few fossils of us, but in 10 million years, 50 million, practically nothing. Which means, if another civilization existed long before us, their traces may have already been erased by time itself. By the way, if you're enjoying this journey into the mysteries of Earth's past, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now. It really helps us bring you more deep dive explorations like this. And don't forget to hit the bell icon, so you never miss out on the next adventure. Alright, let's continue. So, if the traces of a forgotten civilization are nearly impossible to find, does that mean there's no hope of ever discovering one? Not exactly. Some scientists believe there may already be clues hidden in plain sight. Let's take the mechanism, an ancient Greek device discovered in a shipwreck more than 100 years ago. At first it looked like a lump of corroded bronze. But when researchers studied it, they found it was a complex machine with gears so precise, it could predict eclipses and astronomical positions. Some even call it the world's first computer. But here's the question. If such advanced knowledge existed just 2,000 years ago, what about 2 million or 20 million? Then there's the mystery of the Baghdad battery, a clay jar with copper and iron, components that some suggest could generate electricity. Mainstream archaeologists say it was probably just a storage jar, but alternative thinkers see it as proof of forgotten technology. And what about geological anomalies, layers of soil with strange spikes in carbon, heavy metals, or even radioactive isotopes? Could these be signs of industrial activity from the deep past? Now let's be clear. Most of these anomalies have natural explanations, but when you look at them together, they whisper a haunting possibility. Maybe we're not the first species to experiment with technology on this planet. Think about that for a second. What if every skyscraper, every satellite, every smartphone is not humanity's first invention, but just the latest round in Earth's long cycle of rise and fall? Before we dive deeper into myths and ancient legends, let me ask you, what do you think? Could there have been an advanced civilization long before humans? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your theories. And remember, your engagement helps this community grow, so don't forget to like this video if you're enjoying the ride so far. Science is one thing, but what about the stories our ancestors passed down? Nearly every ancient culture speaks of great civilizations lost in fire, flood, or time. Take Atlantis, described by Plato over 2,000 years ago, a great island nation, advanced in knowledge and power, that disappeared beneath the sea. Many dismiss it as pure allegory, but some wonder, was it a distant memory of something real? Or look at the ancient Hindu concept of the yugas, cycles of time in which humanity rises to greatness and then falls into darkness, only to begin again. Could this be a poetic memory of civilizations rising and collapsing over millions of years? Then there's the Sumerian Kings List, a stone tablet that records rulers who supposedly reigned for tens of thousands of years, far longer than human lifespans allow. Is this mythology, or a distorted echo of something deeper? And across the world, from the Hopi people of North America to the Aboriginal Australians, we find stories of worlds destroyed and rebuilt, floods, fires, endless cycles. Could it be that our myths are not just stories but distant memories of worlds before our own? Science may call it speculation, but myths have a strange way of holding on to truths too ancient to measure. Now, before we get carried away, let's slow down, because science is about evidence. And the truth is, so far, we have no direct proof that another advanced civilization existed before humans. The Silurian Hypothesis is a question, not a claim. It asks us, if there was one, how would we even know? Let's examine the counter-arguments. First, geology. Our planet is incredibly efficient at recycling itself. Ocean floors are constantly being destroyed and remade by tectonic activity. Continents shift, mountains rise and crumble. Over tens of millions of years, almost every trace of the surface is erased. That means that if a civilization did exist, finding physical remains would be almost impossible. Second, the fossil record. Fossils form only under very specific conditions. In fact, of the billions of species that have lived, the vast majority left no trace. If a civilization lived for only a few 100,000 years, the odds of finding evidence in stone are vanishingly small. Third, natural explanations. Strange anomalies like carbon spikes or radioactive layers often have perfectly natural causes. Volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, massive forest fires. These leave chemical signatures that might look artificial but aren't. And finally, skepticism. Most scientists argued that if an advanced species really had existed millions of years ago, it would have left unmistakable evidence. Vast minds, engineered landscapes, massive extinctions. Since we haven't found these, the safe conclusion is, we humans are the first. But even with these counter-arguments, the Silurian hypothesis still matters. Why? Because it teaches us how fragile civilizations really are, and it helps us think about how to look for signs of life not just here, but across the universe. Now, let me ask you something. Do you think science is being too skeptical? Or are we humans just desperate to believe we're not alone, even in our own past? Let me know in the comments below. Please give this video a like. It really supports the channel and helps more curious minds join us. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. The Silurian hypothesis isn't just about Earth, it's also about how we look for civilizations on other planets. Imagine this, 1,000,000 years from now, aliens visit Earth. Would they find our skyscrapers, our smartphones, our internet? Probably not, but they might find chemical signatures, plastics buried in sediments, unusual metals, radioactive isotopes from nuclear power. These are called technosignatures, clues of technology. Even when the technology itself is gone. Now extend that idea to Mars, or Venus, or exoplanets, light years away. If another world once had life that reached our level or even far beyond, we might not see their buildings or machines, but we could detect subtle fingerprints in the chemistry of their atmospheres or soils. And here's the twist. By studying how fragile our own evidence is, we learn how to search the stars for civilizations that may have risen and vanished long before we looked their way. And here's the twist. By studying how fragile our own evidence is, we learn how to search the stars for civilizations that may have risen and vanished long before we looked their way. So, what does all of this mean? The Silurian hypothesis does not prove that a forgotten civilization once ruled Earth, but it asks us a profound question. If it had, would we even be able to tell? Maybe humanity truly is the first. Maybe we are the pioneers of intelligence on this blue planet. If that's true, it's both exciting and terrifying, because it means our future is unwritten, and we carry the responsibility of being the first and only torchbearers of knowledge. But maybe, just maybe, we're not the first. Maybe others came before us, brilliant, powerful, creative, and, like all things, they fell to time. If that's the case, then we are not alone in history. We are part of a cycle, a rhythm that stretches across deep time, reminding us how fragile civilization really is. And so I leave you with this question. What legacy will we leave? Will the traces of humanity last long enough for some future species, millions of years from now, to discover? Or will we too become just another forgotten chapter in Earth's endless story? Thank you for staying with me on this 1-hour journey. If you enjoyed exploring the mysteries of the Silurian Hypothesis, please make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and share this video with friends who love science and mystery. Together, we'll keep searching for answers to the biggest questions in the universe. If you're enjoying this journey through the universe, make sure to subscribe now and explore more cosmic mysteries with us.